everybody, and at this time, I'd like to call the meeting of the Madison County Fiscal Court to order. Kenny?
Master King.
Say here.
Master Barger.
Here.
Master Hughes.
Here.
Master Combs. Judge Clark.
Here. Okay, you all have had a chance to look at the minutes of the last meeting. If there are no changes or discussions, a motion will be in order to approve those as submitted in your packets.
So move.
Second.
Master King.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master,
Second.
Master King.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes. Judge Clark.
Yes. Treasurer's report, Glenna has that for us this morning.
Treasurer's report this morning, the fund balance as of 7/31/2014 was $6,311,648.18. We, as of 8/31/2014, was $6,758,737.60. $758,737.68. Right now, we're 2 months into the budget. This is as of the end of August. The approximate number is about 17%. General fund receipts are at 44%. Expenditures are at 15.6%. The road fund receipts are at 48.5%. The expenditures are at 13.9%. The jail fund revenues are at 19.9%, and our expenditures are at 18.7%. Revenues for CSEP is 15.2.7%. Revenues for CSEP is 15.2%, and our expenditures are at 13.3%. And 911 fund, the revenues are at 23%, and our expenditures are at 15.7%. So all expenditures except for the jail is about 1% over, which we know why.
The road fund about right, 48%?
Yeah, we get our lump sum money. When we get our county road fund, they pay 60% of it in August. They pay another 30% in January, and then another 10 at the end of the year. So we get a big January and then another 10 at the end of the year. So we get a big chunk of our money at one time. But you know, sometimes we get a large amount of receipts at one time, but our expenditures are right on track.
Okay, any questions? If not, thanks, Glenna. Good report. We'll go into order of business, and I'd like the magistrate's permission to amend the agenda today. We just got it yesterday in the mail, and it's a, we just got it yesterday in the mail, and it's a, I'll talk to you about it, but it's a Kentucky Transportation Agreement, and I'd like to add that right before the executive session, if that's okay with you all.
Yeah.
Okay, first off, we've got a proclamation today from the Ombudsman. That's the National Lawn Care Resident, and we've supported them for ever since I've been here. And it's just a wonderful organization, and I think we have somebody's Crystal organization, and I think we have somebody's Crystal. Is somebody here from Ombudsman? Nobody came. Crystal was going to try to be here. She got a letter, but let me read the proclamation and then we'll get with them. Whereas there are more than 1.6 million individuals living in 16,000 nursing homes and 1 million individuals living in 50,000 board and care assisted living facilities in the U.S., whereas the Federal Nursing Home Reform Act in the U.S., whereas the Federal Nursing Home Reform Act of 1987 guarantees residents their individual rights in order to promote and maintain their dignity and anonymity, and whereas all residents should be aware of their rights so they may be empowered to live with dignity and self-determination, whereas we wish to honor and celebrate these citizens, to recognize their rich individuality, and to encourage residents and others to be educated about staffing and long-term care, whereas individuals and groups across the country will be celebrating Residents' Rights Month with the theme, Better Staffing, the Key to Better Care, to emphasize the importance of affirming these rights through facility practices, public policy, and resident-centered decision-making. Now, therefore, I, Kent Clark, Madison County Judge Executive, and the Madison County Fiscal Court do hereby proclaim October 14th as National Lawn Care Residents Rights Month in Madison County. Encourage all citizens to join me in these important observations. We will get that to them. It is a great organization, and like I said, we've always supported them financially a little bit to help out because they have a problem, but they've got a lot of volunteers. The next on your thing is a grant application, and briefly, this is a grant application, and briefly, this is a battlefield lot. It's owned by Bob Moody, and it's down on the lower side of Battlefield. There are two buildings, and what this does is it gets the battlefield preservation. It gives them the okay to go on and start the grant process. Now, there's some terms in that. One of them is that the buildings will be torn down and hauled off before we get possession of it. We get possession of it. This really just gives them the okay to go on and start the grant process, putting the money together from the Heritage Council and the battlefield preservation. It's a lot down there, and, I think part of the battlefield, and if somebody else is going to pay for it, I think it's a good project. But I'd like the court's permission to authorize me to sign this agreement to authorize them to go on and start the grant procedure.
So move.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes. I've got one reappointment to the Madison County Cemetery Board, and that's Bill Palahoney. Bill, he gets involved and he really works on this. He's been kind of out of service lately, but he's getting better. And with your permission, he's getting better. And with your permission, I'd like to reappoint Bill to the Cemetery Board, and his appointment will expire January 1st of 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes. Next, Carl's here with CSEP personnel. Carl?
In your drop boxes from last week. You should have had 9 resumes. That's how many we received for the position that we advertised. We took those 9 and whittled it down to 6 and made phone calls to those 6. 2 were dropped out due to we can't afford them, and so we wound up with interviewing 4, and that's the spreadsheet we have for you there of the 4 that we interviewed. We'd like to have your permission to hire James Wilson. He's retired Richmond Chief of Police, Assistant Chief of Police. He's worked in the EOC with us on numerous disasters. He's also been involved with us in CSEP. Well, I've been here 11 years, so more than 11 because he was here before I got here, working from RPD in that role in the EOC. So he scored the highest. He was 18 points. He was 18 points. And then the second highest was one of our current staff members, Dustin Heiser. He scored at 14, and then the other 2 at the end were considerably lower. So, but we'd like permission to hire James Wilson.
Okay, any questions for Carl?
Once again, you systematically evaluate a situation and come up with a scoring method that is just admirable, and just the way you do things, and that's really good. And I'll be glad to make the motion that we accept Jim Wilson. I know him, I remember him, worked on the police department, so I'm glad that he's joining the team.
I am as well.
A second.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carl.
Judge Clark?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Carl, you might want to come back up and let's talk just a little bit and let the court know what you're trying to do with personnel. Carl served as kind of a training ground for graduates, and seems like they get there and we don't pay a whole lot, and they get what they need on a resume, and they go on to bigger and better things. And what Carl and I have talked about, and he's really looking at is, finding people. Of course, the program will go through anywhere from 20 to 22 or 23, is finding very qualified individuals that have retired and aren't looking for any long-term job, because everybody knows going into this it could be a 6-7 year job anyway. So he's kind of looking at very qualified individuals that have retired and just want to work 5 or 6 or 7 years. So I've retired and just want to work 5 or 6 or 7 years. So I applaud him for that. And they don't get a priority, but it really helps when we have people like that apply.
Right. I mean, we're looking at bringing in 4 kind of leaders, proven leaders, as we go to 24/7 operations during DMIL, which is going to be upon us before we know it. The end of 2016 and is very possible with the mustard demilitarization. I need people that can lead the crews on. I need people that can lead the crews on the various shifts, because I can't be everywhere at all times, and neither can Michael. So picking up people that we know this is home. They're not really trying to build a resume. They don't expect to get paid 80 grand to start, which is what some people expect that we had resumes from. That's just not where we live. That's not reality for us. So we're not going to not look at young people because they bring a lot of enthusiasm. Going to not look at young people because they bring a lot of enthusiasm, new ideas and all that. But I have trained a ton of people that have went off to do other things for other departments in other cities around here, and university and the depot itself. And I'd like to get a staff that would stay with me through DMIL, which is our most critical time, and not have a revolving door. So we're looking at some senior positions that will have some longevity and make us get through DMIL the way we need to get through DMIL so that everything goes safe. Us get through DMIL the way we need to get through DMIL so that everything goes safe and sound and smoothly.
Thanks, Carl.
You're welcome.
Okay, next was the amendment on the agenda, and we just got this yesterday. We got a letter, and I meant to bring it up, but I was approached by Wallace Taylor in Estill County and asked if we would participate in the state road, the county road bridge program, and the county road bridge program. It's an 80-20. The state puts up 80%, and usually the county. They really like these 2 counties applying for this. Wallace just felt like that we would have a little bit more success, and we did, and we were accepted. And this is a bridge down at Knoblick. Any of y'all that are accustomed, it's where the big culvert's there, and it's a very dangerous place. Yeah, there, and it's a very dangerous place. Yeah, the water gets over it, so we have been approved, and we just got the agreement yesterday. It's the state's, it's about $50,000 bridge, and the state's going to pay $126, and then Estill County will pay 10%, and Madison County will pay 10%. So, great project for that end of the county. And getting people back and forth from Estill County to Madison County, and a whole lot of, getting people back and forth from Estill County to Madison County, and a whole lot of people use that road, and it is very dangerous. So we're glad to get this, and we'll go on if you all will authorize me to sign the agreement and try to get an advertisement put together and get this bridge bid.
So moved.
Second. And it definitely needs it. It's been a long time coming.
It's dangerous when there's not even water running through it.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes, and good.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. At this time, we've got an executive session dealing with personnel, and I would like a motion from the court to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Sorry for the inconvenience. It shouldn't take very long if anybody'd like to stay. Order to set October 31st as trick or treat, and this is in line with both cities. We call them, and we want to do that. The Ag Expo at the fairgrounds was excellent. They had a huge crowd out there. John Tudor and them were cooking, and he said they fed over 500 people. The Siege at Boonesboro, it's a free event with forward admission, is September 27th and 28th. Kirksville Days is something we love, the 7 a.m. country ham breakfast at the lodge. And then the vendors and the parade. Parade will be lining up at 10 and it'll be at 11 o'clock. Second Sunday Battlefield will be October the 2nd, 2 to 4 out at Battlefield Park. The Halloween Hoedown is around the courthouse, and they're letting you set up tents, handing out candy, doing whatever you'd like to do, and they expect a huge crowd, and that is the night before Halloween on October 30th from 6 to 8, so it won't last long. And then an update to you all, and we'll have it on the agenda, is Mark has researched the contract with our former medical provider, and has made the recommendation that we're okay. We've sent them a 30-day notice as the contract requires, and when that's up, we will go on and we'll do it beforehand, go on and authorize me to sign a new contract with the new provider. And that's all I have in that. So we'll go for department heads. Do we have anybody? Scott?
Good morning, everyone. I just want to take the opportunity to remind everybody about our annual household hazardous waste collection on Saturday, October 4th. We'll be set up at 208 Clarksville Lane, which is the road department's south location, directly across from Memorial Gardens Cemetery. And we'll be taking the household hazardous waste as well as electronics that day. So it should be a great day, and it'll be advertised in both local newspapers and on the radio as well.
Tires are part of that or not?
Tires are not part of that. No tires at the household hazardous waste collection.
Thanks, Scott. And I might add that we are the recipient, Scott's work, for a grant that pays, how much of that, Scott? 75%, so that's good. Any other department heads? Carl?
Just wanted to give you guys an update on, we had our CSEP graded exercise last week on Wednesday, and had the normal contingent of evaluators, close to 50 of them here in the county. Evaluated all the schools and daycare, both hospitals, field decon operation, emergency operations center, and a joint information center. Had some very positive comments from the team, some that meant a lot to my team. For instance, the joint information center, we ran that out of the backup in Berea. It's the first time we've done that. And the evaluator that we had, she's known to be kind of hard-nosed. She's been around the block. She works for FEMA out of Region 8, which is out in the Denver area. And she said it's the best joint information center she's ever seen, period. So Tammy and the team there, Jennifer, that pulled that backup alternate facility together and made it what it was, they deserve a lot of kudos. A lot of volunteers put in a lot of hours of training, and it paid off. So I was very proud of that, because you don't get those kind of comments out of Cheryl very often. The Emergency Operations Center had a good report out of that as well. They said they couldn't tell if we hadn't told them that it was a backup. They thought it would be a primary as smooth as the operations went. Had great participation. Judge Exec was there, Deputy Judge was there, and both mayors were there. So they got to see the operation, and I was very proud of it. It went very well. This year's report, got to look at the draft. We got it yesterday. No findings in Madison County. Findings are things that are wrong and could make harm occur either to the environment or to people. We had none of those, so that's a great thing. Had 11 strengths. Strengths are things that you're doing so well everyone else ought to copy them. And we had 16 observations. Those are things you can tweak. For instance, one of those observations was the AER at the school worked, but its battery was dead. So you need to replace the battery. It's like, yeah, we will if they'd tell us it was dead, but it was working because it was plugged into the wall. So those are the kind of things observations are. Little things you can make better. You always want those because that's why you do exercises. So I was proud of everybody. One of our best reports ever, and we'll just see if the final report looks like the draft report we got yesterday. Sometimes they change, but I was really excited about how well everybody did, and the team that we have here in Madison County was commented on several times. Law enforcement, fire, EMS, everybody pulled together, and there were some strengths given in the report for that teamwork, so I'm proud of that. Spoon Bread was a big success. We saw our biggest number ever. We only worked Friday all day and Saturday all day at Spoon Bread, but 1,252 people we got to talk about disaster preparedness with, and that is our new record. Our previous one was around 1,200, just shy. So it was a great weekend for us, so that was all I had.
Thanks, Carl. Any questions? Any other department heads? If not, comments from magistrates. Greg?
Well, a few road upgrades, the second phase of 52 coming from Lancaster to Duncannon. They're moving on with it, and I drove through it and looked and seen a lot of rock being moved and the provision being made, way to get the road through. So, that's looking good. And then plus the road department has patched a lot of roads. I've noticed a lot of places where they was a little rough. They went in there and patched a lot of them. Some are blacktop. Got a lot of that done. I appreciate them for the things they've done. As you judge, getting it working the roads that they look good, that the garbage ain't as bad as it used to be. It looks good to ride around your county and see the roadways not a dump site. So I appreciate everybody through Scott and different ones that has that part in cleaning up the roadways. Our county looks beautiful. Just since Larry ain't here, I'm just going to fill in for him. I'm glad to be here.
Roger.
I got all of y'all a progress report on the Valley View Ferry on the new boat. It's coming along. It's a little further along than these pictures will show. We're kind of enthusiastic right now because they've told us that it probably will be ready by the end of October or somewhere early November, and that'll work out pretty good because the barge that hauls the cars will be out of the water next month sometime, being sandblasted and painted. And we're hoping to time it to where we can put it back in and be ready to hook the new boat to it and take the other one out. We've got another county that's interested in our boat, our old boat. Wouldn't sound like a whole lot of money that we'd be getting out of it, but it'd be better than having to pay somebody to haul it out and store it somewhere till we can sell it, because it won't bring back probably what we'll have in cost.
Interested in it.
Bullock County is looking at it, their judge and some of their court, and one of the road department guys come looked at it, and they was real impressed with it. And they know it's got to have things changed on it. We're trying to work it out to where the guy that's building our new boat will take this old one back and do the changes for them. It'll work out great if we can and sell it right then. That's money that we can put towards the grants that's not going to cover. So it's working out good. This is going to be a good-looking early 1900s boat, but it'll be all high-tech, up-to-date, but it's going to work out, I believe. That's all I got, Judge.
Good deal, Rod. Bill Ray?
Doug was here. I wonder what the head count is over there.
It was a 309 yesterday, I think, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Katie said like 305.
I think that jail's probably the biggest problem we got in the county, and
That's with like 40 out in Grant County. 26,000 this past month.
what are you thinking? Where are we at on that jail? You want to talk about that?
Let's wait, and I'll put it on the agenda, and we'll...
Is there home incarceration, is it up to par, or we're still low in number?
They're doing a little better, Greg. I think, Glenn, we had 26 or 27 last count, in the mid-20s. It's average in the mid-20s, and we just got to do some things with it, Greg.
I mean, I know just one concern I was thinking about. I know I done have my speech, but we hired extra help to implement that program. If we ain't gonna escalate the inmates, then we need to maybe look to move some employees instead of not having nothing to do.
We're going to have to invest a big pile of money over there. That's what's got to happen.
Exactly. And if y'all want me to, next meeting, I'll just put together a little rundown on them. I can give them to you now, but we've been here too long. Like numbers and proposals and what we're looking at, but it's not good. It really isn't.
There's no, really no end in sight.
Yeah.
And really all you need to do is, and I've invited you all over the course of years to come to court. There was no court last week for this felony docket because of the Judicial College. I'll have a docket tomorrow that will probably take 2 accordion folders to keep just the bare paperwork in it. And that's one day, and those are all felonies.
But most of them's got their root in some kind of substance abuse.
Oh, no doubt. I don't have statistics because, and sometimes you couldn't even say for sure, because you might have substance abuse involved in a case that doesn't show in the charge, somebody breaking into your home.
Yeah.
It might not have anything to do with drugs or alcohol, but it's being driven by the addiction. I bet 85%, 90%. There's not a whole lot of bad guys out there. There's some. Most of them are people that are just so addicted and they act completely out of character. And that's what you've got to get to. And I think ultimately that's what the focus needs to be upon. But until you get there and until you get that type of treatment, the community needs protecting from a whole lot of these folks, and you owe it to them. But come to court on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's when we have the jail docket. And you'll see all of the folks there that are unable to bond out before the first time they make the judge. You'll notice they're almost all on probation. They're all on parole. There's some holder in circuit court. There's contempt matters. There's failures to appear. The bonds that are being set right now, quite frankly, from a prosecutor's perspective, I think could be interpreted to be too low. Everybody makes a concerted effort to acknowledge this problem, but if you start with the problem that we have in our community, you're going to wind up with a big population no matter what you do.
I see these postings, everybody gets arrested every day, and more women all the time. Some days there's almost as many women being arrested as men, and it's just, I don't know what the end is going to be, but.
Well, I'm going to be heading over to the office after this meeting and start looking at tomorrow. Any of y'all want to come over with me? Right across the street.
Thanks, Bill Ray. Anything else?
Sheriff?
Kenny?
No, thank you. Nope.
Okay, any comments from the audience? Anybody got anything to say? If not, the next court date will be October 14th. And motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes, Judge Clark.
Yes. Thank everybody for coming in, and motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Yes.
Favor, yep.